I remember what you lot saying. Like, no slander in the comment section, blood. It's 9 p.m. here, blood. It's Friday night. Man's lit, fam. You know, like that. I've been out since 5 o'clock, G. Come on now. What you man saying?
Damn, man. I wish I could say the same, fam. I just finished the working day, fam. Literally. I wish I was lit. Don't worry. I'm going to follow behind you and go and do that when we come off this thing, man. But I'm good, man.
Trust me.
Yeah.
What you saying, Matisse, bruv?
Same, man. Just got back from work. It's just good to be back on stream. I got a lot of venting to. I got a lot of things to say. A lot of stuff to say.
Bro, I can imagine, blood. You know, man, it's been one of them days, blood. It's 40 degrees outside. I don't know how much I've had to drink, so it's going to be great. You know, like that. You know, like that. Hey, bruv, listen. You know, like that. It's been an absolute mad thing, bro. My team is shit. Your team is shit. You get me? But Lampard patterned Klopp nicely, blood. Man, they were giving him ratings for that, blood. Hey, you see that video there? Bruv. Ratings for Lampard. Man said one title winning. Second, your blood clot. That's what Lampard told,
That's what football's about, man. That's what people forget. People were probably looking at Lampard like, how dare he? He's disrespectful. He's just sour. And a lot of that's probably true. But at the end of the day, Lampard's fully agreed to say this. This is what I love about football, that raw uncutness. And I'd say, obviously, it's sad how the corona's affected football. But one thing I've loved is actually being able to hear what they're saying. It's like, Lampard said, obviously, Jurgen Klopp had the last laugh. He won. He's the league champion and stuff. But that is going to burn him. And them sort of things there are probably going to spur Klopp to say, yo, this time next year, I'm going to be the one saying that smart shit. So we have to see.
It's the type of shithousery I love to see. I'm not going to lie. And the thing is, that's what spurs rivalries. You look at the old days, you look at Wenger versus Mourinho, Wenger versus Sir Alex, Mourinho versus Rafa. It's all about the shithousery. It's all about that talk. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we've been missing. That's what we've been missing. So I'm more than happy to see it, as long as it results in some fire and some trophies for us next season. A little bit of a rivalry never hurt anybody. So anybody complaining about respect and disrespect, that football's always had that. That's just how it goes. Simple as that.
100%, lad. And for the fans as well, that sometimes think, because there's like a misconception that certain footballers or certain people don't care. Brother, there's not a footballer on this planet that goes out to play a game that don't want to win, bro. But whether they want to leave the club or not, whether they're negotiating a new deal or not, bro, when these men get out there, the only thing they're thinking about is the W, fam. You know them ones. And Lampard showed that, bro. Regardless, man sitting in the touchline like, listen, like man takes it personally when Klopp's doing them things there, bro.
It's true. And that's what he should, because I'm not going to lie, the game was booky. The game was a little bit booky, but
fantastic for the neutrals, man.
Yeah, it was a game for the neutrals. As a fan, it's not the type of game you want to watch your team play. Do you know what I mean? I was hella annoyed with Chelsea from the moment the first goal went in, to be honest, because just the defending, I'm sure we'll get onto you. Defending is just atrocious, man. It's just what I keep saying every single week. It doesn't matter how many goals this team score, they can still be a liability. And that's why I never said Chelsea had title challenges for next season until I see what goalkeeper comes in, what centre back, what left back. The whole defense, left side and goalkeeper is absolutely torn to shreds. Even the DM, Jorginho, he's not a natural DM. You know what I mean? I've said so many times he's suited to Sarri's system. He's suited to the Regista role. He's suited to having Kante or Allen at Napoli when he had them shuttle in and protect him. You leave this brother on DM on his own in transition, you're just asking to get clapped up. It's just shooting. We play an expansive game where we're trying to go end to end with people and we're trying to be high intensity. You don't stick Jorginho in Liverpool system either. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work. It needs to be a concentrated possession, tight game. You need to be playing a system where you're not having massive gaps in between the lines. That's the only way this brother's going to thrive. Do you know what I mean? And it's just not going to work with us. So there's just so many things going on.
Yeah, he's definitely a Sarri player. You know them, there's no two ways about it. Like Sarri took him there, and there was talk of him possibly taking him to Juventus, innit? Like he fits the specific role for the system. Outside of that, it's hard to really find a place for him. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, but this is what happens when you allow managers to build teams in their image, which is why I'm a big fan of a director of football and also a philosophy for a football club, because no matter what manager comes in, there should be a continuity in terms of recruitment, in terms of philosophy, style of play, whatever, in it. And that's why I didn't agree with going from Van Gaal to then going to Mourinho to then going to Solskjaer, bro. Until you get a director of football and a club that has a philosophy and identity, you're always going to get situations like the Jorginho one.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I've been long saying this club have got players for different systems. They've got wing backs at left back that suit Conte's system. They got defensive wingers that suit Mourinho, and that's why we picked Schürrle over Salah. We've got, you know, players that suit Sarri ball, and we got players that don't suit no system because they're not good enough. And then we got players that Frank Lampard likes, like Mason Mount. It's just a clusterfuck of people's systems. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we can't continuity, you know, chemistry in the team. 1 minute, you know, apart from the injuries, 1 minute we're trying to play one brand of football, next minute we're playing the other, and that's another reason why I don't really know what style we play, what we're trying to do, because we've got too many players that just suit other people's systems. We don't have a left back at the club. I don't count Alonso as a left back. He's a left wing back. That's where his best games are played. You play him at left back, you're losing his best qualities, and you're highlighting his worst. Emerson's just not good enough at this level to be a starter. It's just unfortunate. We don't have a left back at the club, so we don't have a goalkeeper either, quite evidently. You know what I mean? I don't know how many times I'm going to come on here and cuss this guy off, because it's just getting embarrassing now. Every single week, this guy's putting up new stats. You want to know this one? This one, yeah? If he concedes against Wolves 1 goal, he has conceded, I think, the most goals of all time in Chelsea, in the season for Chelsea. And that's including the goalkeepers that had to play 42 games in the season, back in the old days. This brother is just setting up new stats. The defense is just setting up new stats. Rüdiger. What is this guy doing? The most experienced defender, German international, World Cup winner. We spoke about it with Mustafi at Arsenal as well. These guys are inconsistent. I can't wait for a backline. It's just a mess. It's a real mess back there. It's embarrassing.
These man there, man said Rants look smashed. I'm not smashed, blood. You want to see me smashed, blood? You ain't lived, cunt. You ain't lived, cunt. This is me calm. I'm telling you, man, ain't even been on the tequilas tonight. You know what I'm saying?
It's about to get crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's been a calm day for me, blood. You hear me? Man's been drinking since 5 o'clock, blood. It's now 9:10 here. You know them ones. So man's been out here living life, G. You know the ones there. A man's here and man's still working, fam.
You can see it in his eyes, bro.
You get me? Man's been out here living life, G.
You know when you support Man United, Arsenal, or Chelsea, you gotta have a drink every once in a while. You know, I once showed up tipsy to one of my videos on Twitter. Straight away.
Brother, understand here that United, when they died last game, I was like, I'm not doing a match reaction. I'm staying out to have a few drinks and watch the Liverpool Chelsea game. And it was a great game, blood. You know, the man done the match reaction the next day, because you know what? When you support Man United, blood, you need alcohol. like you need it, blood. You know the man's there, blood. When your manager's a train driver, it's a mad thing. You know that? It's an absolute mad thing. Man, I to watch Man United play. And I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, bruv, this guy is looking at the screen all game like man's playing PES, blood. Like man's playing PS4 and he's controlling these guys, blood. I'm just looking at the screen. I'm like, what are you gonna learn on the screen, blood? Have you not been training these men all week, blood? What's on the screen that you ain't seen before, blood? You know, like that. This is what man has to deal with this guy, bro. And it's like, we're playing Leicester on the final day. And I'm like, bro, all roads lead to man getting pumped by Leicester, innit? Like, because honestly, we haven't played well for like 5 games. We're away from home. The players look knackered, out on their feet. And like, Leicester have been playing a 5 at the back because of injuries. If Oli ever tries to play a 5 at the back in this game to mirror them, we're getting banged. I know that, innit? So I'm looking at it, bro. I'm not confident, fam.
I need you to win. You know that? Because if my team not going to do it, my team's not going to do the business. I need you to win. If you win, we've qualified. I need you to secure the bag, any way, shape, or form. I'm literally asking for a Greenwood screamer or something, because my team are not going to secure the bag on their own. It's just not going to happen. We had Sheffield United to do this. We had Liverpool, a drunken Liverpool, to do this. Team don't want it. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool turned up in a state, from as per usual. They're always a state. Conceding 3 goals at home, and we still can't secure any points. My team help, man. Charity Organisation FC. I've been saying it for the longest. Literally last season, I said nobody wants top 4. Give it to charity, because everybody's just dropping points. Same as this season. Just hand it over to charity, man. There's a lot of money in
It's a charity. Arsenal, I'll take that, but I'm never gonna sit here and chat. I'm here on a sour thing. I'm praying to God.
What one for Arsenal? Yeah, I looked at Arsenal, and my thing was, I just thought, you know what, they banged two good teams in what 3 days. These managers tired, innit? That's how I saw it. I didn't see, to be honest, if I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm looking at it, I'm like, you man have got nothing to play for. You've won 2 good games, and it just looked to me that these men were like, right, they couldn't really get up for the game. It just looked like they weren't interested. Honestly, I wouldn't take too much from that.
For me, it's about mentality because, like you said, we ain't in the grand scheme of things. There's nothing to play for. You know, we can't get top 4. But I'm looking at next season now. It's like some of you are gonna be here. You know, some of you are not. So what are we building towards? Can we keep some sort of spirit? We found out today that the new season's in September. Obviously, when they go on holiday, it's all irrelevant. But it's about the spirit. Because for me, you know, conscience is a massive thing. When it hits May and whatever happens in the FA Cup happens, but when it hits May, the stats aren't going to lie. You know, when we break down Arsenal season, there's been some bookie moments, there's been some rather decent moments, but as a whole, it hasn't been good enough. You know, game management, clean sheets, away from home, all of these things are going to look negative. So it's like, we know this. So build for next season. I feel I don't think it was an arrogance in that we thought, we're Arsenal, you're Villa, we're going to win. But I felt it was an arrogance in a sense of we can kind of like, we played well against Liverpool and Man United, Man City, sorry. So we can turn up here and kind of do things. Because in a weird way, in the first half before they scored, I think what we did to City and Liverpool, they did it to us. It's like they were penned in, you know, they were holding in 2 banks of 4. We let ourselves down in the build up to their set piece, and we concede from a set piece, like against Spurs, like against Brighton. Another theme. I think they said 46% of Arsenal's goals have come through that. So it's about learning for next season. This is what I'm talking about, bro. I think games like this highlight as well why we need creators, because I'm of the feeling you look, I've spoken about this enough times, you build from the back, but I feel when you've got an ability in the midfield, you don't necessarily have to defend when you've got the bulk of possession. Attack is a form of defense, and I feel it's good sitting back when you're playing Liverpool and City, because naturally they're going to come on to us. We're the inferior side because of how both teams play. Gaps are going to open. They want their attacking players. That's cool against the top 6. But when you're going against a team like Villa, you know, fighting relegation, all mans to the pump, 2 banks of 4, you know, it was a 4-3-3, but 5-4-1 out of position. You need man to break this team down. And I look at our midfield and just look at everyone. There's no one that's doing the eye of a needle pass. So when you can see the cheap goal and you kind of giving them the 3 points and you're not breaking down teams, we were toothless as well. Like our attackers barely had a touch. You know, the best chance of the game, probably Eddie's where it hit the post and things like that. It's a bad day at the office. And like you said, man, they're probably on the beach like myself. They're probably begging for the season to be done. But it's just about mentality. Like, forget the game. Forget the fact we've got nothing to play for. It's about mentality. Because next season, this time next year, we could be, I hope we're in you lot's position in the sense of if you do not win, lose or draw, you know, there's direct consequences. How are you going to deal with that? Because next season, we could have Old Trafford at 1 week, Chelsea the next, and then Sheffield United. I need to see you up for it and getting decent results in all of them. And it just highlights another problem on the road, man. Like, to be fair, the away, since the restart, the away sort of thing, I've kind of allowed it. Like, I have an agenda about Arsenal and away games because I think we need to fix it up. But if there's no fans, really doesn't matter. But it's kind of, it's the same figures, literally. And if I'm harsh, you know, that game kind of meant that they're fighting relegation. City's a FA Cup. Let's give them credit. But we were the inferior side going into it. Liverpool, many people, myself included, expected us to lose. So it's typical Arsenal being able to play when there's kind of no pressure, really and truly. I'm not saying there's pressure against Villa because it's Villa, but they're playing for something and we're not, sort of thing. So it's a weird one, but it kind of sums up our season, man. And many Arsenal, I sat here and said it would be exactly like us to go and lose that game. And I don't like to be right, but I know my team and. Yeah, man, highs and lows of football fans, specifically my club, Arsenal. So it's a peak one, man.
Yeah, absolutely. The no pressure Arsenal thing is something that's plagued you lot for a long time, bro. And it almost looks like that, bro. And does that make you nervous for the FA Cup final?
No, because Arsenal are bookie with the FA Cup. Like they seem to be up for it. I mean, one thing that's making me a bit nervous is Mustafi's not available. Like I don't think much of Mustafi, but giving a man credit where due form, since Arteta's coming, he's been decent. I look at someone like Giroud. You know, with Giroud, he makes them far past front post runs, and he's going to give you a hard time in the air. And Mustafi might not be the biggest, but him and Luiz, I'm looking at them to kind of challenge him. Now with Luiz gone, I mean, Mustafi gone, we're kind of up against it. I'd like to think they're up for it, but same way I've seen my team in a cup final not be up for it. Like I've seen certain centre halves put their hand up looking to the linesman while Sergio Aguero is running clear on goal. So I'm kind of confident they'll be up for it. If it was under Emre, not to beat him with a stick because he's irrelevant, I'd be a bit nervous. But I think one thing Arteta's good at is giving confidence in these sort of big games. Will we, it's another thing. Will we have the concentration levels to not allow mistakes? If we make a mistake, can we react? These are all other questions. But I'm confident in at least the mentality being there in the start. And then we might lose for different reasons.
Yeah. Matisse, how you feeling, bro? How you feeling about Jack?
Yo, listen.
They defend like they did yesterday, man. Take shots.
Yo, if we defend how we defended yesterday, then it's just gonna have to be a wrap. Hand over the medal because it's just appalling. Do you know what I mean? And that's why that question there, why is Tomori not playing? I have to assume he's injured because I don't understand why he wouldn't be getting a chance in this team. It's very clear that no defender is sticking out in terms of consistency in this back line. You can go and say Zuma's probably been the best centre back this season, but I still wouldn't throw him way ahead of everybody else yet. I'm still waiting for consistency from everybody and to lead the defense in general. We had a very good combination earlier in the season. We had Zuma and Tomori, and even though they were conceding an average of like 2 goals per game, they were showing signs of establishing a partnership, and a little bit of patience might go a long way. To just throw Rüdiger in there, who is clearly a clown, as I've been saying the whole season, it's a waste of my time.
What is with I feel like amongst Chelsea fans, it's either you hate Rüdiger or you hate Zuma, blood. Like no one can make no one can decide
with both of them. Like
I decided a long time ago that Rüdiger was the worst centre back at this club by far, because at least Zuma has shown signs of being competent next to John Terry at his do you know what I mean? He's shown that he can play well for a consistent amount of time. He did very well at Everton. Rüdiger's never shown nothing for me. Never shown nothing. All this brother does is shout, and more shout. And he doesn't really mark his own men for the set pieces. So he's telling someone else to mark a man, and then he loses his man. Do you know what I mean? He's very overrated for me. Very overrated. I don't know how this guy won a World Cup with Germany, but I'm not seeing... to be honest, I'm not seeing anyone better than Luis. If you're saying Luis is error prone, I'm seeing just as many errors in Rüdiger's game as Luis. So for me, Rüdiger's the person I'm shipping out. Absolutely no problems about that. You're the oldest one. You're the one that's meant to have the quote unquote leadership, and he can't lead shit. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't trust his brother to run a buff, and that's just being as serious as I can. He's a joke. He really is. He has one good game against relegated Norwich, and everybody starts clapping their hands like as if this guy just controlled the Messiah in Pookie. And then when it comes to the big days, when we've got real teams to play, like Bayern Munich, like Roma a couple of years ago, like Liverpool, this guy just starts messing around, starts fiddling drums. I'm like, it's time to go. It's really, I don't mean to take the iconic line of Claude, but it's time to go. It's time to go. I have lost my patience with that boy. The only shining light, just to give his favorite part is the shit's ripping into Kepa every week. I could write a book on Kepa. Don't get me started. But listen, if we're talking about bright spots, I have to bring up Pulisic. Pulisic on a hell of a player.
Different.
Baller. I've just stopped against him now. He's a baller. He's certified.
He's not like the rest of them. I'm telling you, he really isn't. He's not like the rest of them. The way he created that assist, I'm going to take away his goal because the goal was like standard finish, great finish from Pulisic, good ball in from Hudson-Odoi. The assist for Tammy, that was, and I don't like to drag his name into it because I really feel Pulisic will make his own name for the club. He will make his own legacy. It was Hazard type. Do you know what I mean? And it was the way he skipped past 3 players and then had the awareness at 21 and the mind and just the calmness to lay it off for Tammy. Because most young players are going to smash that with their left foot, maybe miss the target. They'll make the wrong decision, and it's like great. You know what I mean? That's what we've complained so many times about.
I speak for your young kids, not mine. Bro,
you see,
it's true though.
Bro. He's so intelligent, bro. Like his basic is so high. That's why I remember comparing him to Rashford. I was like, bro, don't disrespect Pulisic, bro. Now, don't. Because the thing is with Rashford, bro, all the talent in the world, but man's decision making is like it's dead, isn't it?
His reaction.
If man's decision making was a drug, it would be a class C thing. You get me? You know there was that. Rashford's thing is it's a play thing, innit? It's not serious. It's not serious, innit? You see Pulisic, bro, like, forget his ability, because he's got 2 good feet, good close goal, receives the ball well, but bruv, his decision making, man, knows when to bang shots, when to pass, when to dribble. You very rarely see man here get into a position to hurt a man and don't hurt them.
The amount of times Pulisic drifts in between the lines, goes into a central position when he's running and lays it off perfectly weighted for someone else. He always gets, and it's not even just the vision, it's the weight of pass. To know how to weigh it up and just put it on a plate for people. That is what the best players, the best creators do. They don't just have the vision. They make sure the pass is going into your stride. You don't have to work for it. So when the ball comes to you, it's a very simple job that you have. And that's the thing that's really kicking on in Pulisic's game. His shooting's getting better with his left foot. His shooting accuracy, as you saw for the second goal, is ridiculous. But it's the weight of pass. The way the guy can just lay things off for people is incredible. So that's something that's really improving. Keeps doing that. He's going to be a very special player for us, because you look at Ziyech coming in, you look at Werner, hopefully Havertz is basically over the line. That guy's sister is confirming stuff on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? It's just getting up. So the attack is sorted next season. It's just that defense. Get that defense patterned up. We actually might be a decent team.
Does it not worry you that you're not really getting linked with defenders? You get linked with the left back, but other than the left back, I'm not hearing too much talk of defenders, but it looks like Abramovich trying to build some Johnny Bravo thing. I
remember when Liverpool were building their team, and they definitely went with the attack first. They secured Mane, Salah, they secured their attack. The thing is, if you don't have a market that's good for defenders, then I'm okay. Don't buy defenders. Just wait. I'd rather us wait and not get defenders if we can't find any, than buy rubbish ones and then have to go again. Do you know what I mean? I don't want us to slap down 70, 60 million on the centre back, and then the centre back is washed in 1 year and we have to go and get another one. Talking of links, we have been linked with Oblak and Jimenez from Atletico Madrid. Those two are wild shouts. If we was to get them, this team is different. But there's release clauses. Atletico Madrid are in financial problems that we spoke about before, with the stadium, obviously paying up Morata. We absolutely robbed them blind for Morata to actually have to make them pay that much money, 52 million for that donkey. Yeah. The new stadium. So they're in financial problems. If we can secure even one of those world-class goalkeeper or defender, then we're on to something. But those are the only 2 links that I've seen. Right now, I think Chelsea is just trying to secure Havertz, and then hopefully when the season's over, they can really go for the centre-back and the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. I've been holding my tongue. I've been just saying he's shit. Now he's really shit. It's a different. It's different levels. It's really different levels. So we need to get a goalkeeper next. I want a left back. I want a centre back. But you have got to get a goalkeeper next. If we had a different goalkeeper, we saved 10 points already this season. For sure. That's the priority next. Goalkeeper straight away. That's the thing
with Liverpool. Everyone talks about Van Dijk, but they don't realise that having Alisson in goal has literally changed their fortunes, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because if they still had Karius in goal, even Van Dijk ain't enough to deal with the fuckery that Karius. I was throwing the ball onto man's foot, blood.
Yeah. You remember the time.
You know what it is? It's Karius, it's Bravo under that first season for Pep, and it's Kepa. Those 3 goalkeepers, they're special, and they're special, bro. Special.
Different sort of players, fam. Different gravy players.
DG, a question for you on screen, bro.
I know you're good at spotting young talents. You're selling me a bit strong, my guy. I'm just someone who watches football, but he's asking me basically about Fernandes of Sporting Lisbon. I guess he's referring to that 17-year-old. From what I've seen of him, listen, I don't know him religiously, but from what I've seen, I'm all up for that, man. He's good 1v1. He's very skillful. He's decisive for a young man. He's got good movement. I like how he's got the X factor about him. But other than that, I'm not too sure if there's legs to it. His agent allegedly is Kaya Jarupkin. He's linked with signing a new deal. You not know how the script goes. Be linked to a big club, contract follows. He's been linked with 45 million. If Arsenal really are in financial issues, like, he's got a lot of potential, and you always see young Portuguese people called the next young Ronaldo and stuff. But if he really has that, then 45 shouldn't be an issue. But if Arsenal have financial issues, I can't see us going for a 45 million, on if I'm cynical, as much as I like him, an unproven young player. So it's just not going to happen. There are some reports saying that they'll take 15, which obviously is more up Arsenal street. But I'm not too sure how much I buy into that one. I think when your agent is Kaya Jarupkin, you're going to see us linked consistently with his players. But if it was just in terms of taking him on ability, of course I would, man. I think he'll tie into what we're trying to do with all the other young players. He's a baller.
Fair enough, bro. That's what I mean. I don't know too much about him, but one thing, when I look at Arsenal, it's kind of like, when I look at that team, I'm like, bro, we're the leaders, innit? That's what I see, innit, bro? Even when I see our team, I'm like, we're the leaders, bro. When I look at Chelsea, I'm like, we're the leaders. Kante's a good player, not a leader. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Kovacic's a good player, not a leader, bro. Do you know what I mean? Pulisic's a good player, but is he a leader? Do you know what I mean? Willian's been there for God knows how long. He still ain't a leader.
Yeah,
like, yeah. The whole team, and it's like, bare man, it's like the blind leading the blind out there, innit?
You don't have one. Not one.
Yeah,
swear to
if you want to be a serious team, yeah, you need to have those kind of qualities in the team.
Guys that pull each other and rein it in. There's no one, man. The young players in all our teams are looking to these experienced ones. These experienced ones are just calam anyways and don't know what they're doing. So it's just all these clubs to a degree, it's just a cocktail for disaster. Like how Greenwood, how Saka, how to a degree Pulisic a bit older, but Pulisic as well are all thriving in these systems. I don't know, because like when they're going through adversity or things aren't going well, who the hell did these actually look for on the field? They're all looking at their managers. For Mason Greenwood, he's looking at Oli. I'm not too sure he's getting anything positive back from Oli. He's probably listening to someone else. You know, Arteta can only do so much. Lampard can only give so much encouragement. I'm a big fan of players have to sort it out themselves on the field. And like I don't like to talk about money and things, but some of these players have been around the block. Forget trophies they've won, you know, international stuff. Just in terms of career appearances, like they're touching, you know, 300 minimum plus. So you should have enough competencies. You know, if you're a doctor, if you've done the same thing 300 times, you should be better than a man that's doing it for the first or second time. And I don't think there's too many of that at all these clubs. There's not leaders. And for me, leading isn't just shout, as for you, isn't just shouting and effing and blinding. It's just leading by example, just pulling up your trousers. And there isn't too many of them at all these clubs. And I don't know if football's going that way. There's less leaders. It's all lovey-dovey, but it is concerning. Very concerning.
When you look at Chelsea, when you look at Manchester United, I look at Mason Greenwood and I'm like, bro, this youth's been kicking ball in the first team for less than 6 months, and I trust him more than certain men that have been in that team for 6 years.
Same with Saka. Ridiculous.
There you go, and it's the same with Chelsea. Pulisic been there 5 minutes, and then man trust Pulisic to put in a consistent performance way longer than certain men like Willian that's been there for God knows how long. It's been under multiple managers.
It's not even trust, it's rely. We rely on Pulisic. We're lopsided. Do you know what I mean? When Hudson-Odoi, that's the one thing I like about Hudson-Odoi is, but he gives defenders something else to think about. When he was on the pitch, it was more balanced in terms of our attack, because you can't leave Hudson-Odoi 1v1 a defender. You
run that, guys.
Do that and you've already lost half the battle. Do you know what I mean? He will rip a man. No matter what form he's in, no matter what confidence, he will rip a man 1v1 if given the opportunity. So when you have a situation where he's playing wide and Pulisic, you give yourself a little bit of balance. You go with Willian and Pulisic, just like, you know, Willian's in the team for the defensive contributions to track him back. But going forward, he's still there's a reason why he hasn't put up Pulisic's numbers any year he's been here. Pulisic comes in his first season and puts up more numbers with less games than Willian's ever put up since he arrived. There's a reason for that, because his attacking output is not reliable, consistent, and it's not good enough for this football club. Do you know what I mean? He's made for the Mourinhos and the Contes who want that defensive winger. Do you know what I mean? That's why we've lost Salah. That's why we've lost De Bruyne. That's why Man United were nearly trying to play Martial at wing back. Do you know what I mean? These are the reasons, because these managers want their defensive wingers. But when you have a defensive winger, it's cool for the tracking back, but you lopside your attack.
Your team going forward.
Yeah, it's lopsided. So Hazard gets all the weight and people double up on him. Pulisic gets all the weight, people double up on him. And luckily, these players can skip round 3-4 man, but it's not going to be like that every time. So we need to balance out our attack, and that's what we're going to do. But right now, as you can see from that game, it's lopsided as hell. And I don't know how these guys, like you're saying, I don't know how these guys function, because you come in, it's just in any standard practice of life. You come into work on your first day at the job, your second day at the job, you need training, you need help. If the people that are training you can't do the job, nobody can do the job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Brad said, it's blind leading the blind.
It's literally blind leading the blind. It is literally peak. And the only reason why we're having this discussion about top four is because there's loads of teams that are run like this. If someone else had their stuff patterned up, we wouldn't be even talking about top four. These points deserve top four. Nobody here should be talking about top four. The only reason why that is because the standard of this league has just dropped to a stupid level. Do you know what I mean? If you look on average, when we're talking about prime teams, the Man United, the Arsenals, the Chelseas, the prime top four, when we was all challenging properly, with
these points would get you 6th place, 7th place.
Yeah. This is Everton, David Moyes points. You don't get points and finish in the top 4 back in the old days. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to sound like a granddad back in my day, but seriously, back in my day, this shit did not run. It really didn't. It really didn't. There's more leaders in Arsenal's team that were declining under Wenger, than there is in my team right now. Now.
It's sad.
You man had Fabregas, Van Persie, and that was a team that was.
I would love to have a Colo Toure in them man now.
Colo Toure.
I'll bite your hand off for a Lauren. Bro, Lauren would do bits in this team. Like we could, for me, we're missing. We have not replaced anyone at centre half. We struggled for a right back, and Lauren be the best example. But you could argue, centre mid. Where's that Vieira? If not through height, just in terms of tenacity and just being a someone who is scary, someone who, because people forget you can win games before you've kicked a football. Football is so psychological. It's sad, but when you come to the Emirates, I'm not saying we need to be scary and do this Stoke thing, but you need to think, I'm in for a bad game. People relish it, and it comes down to the atmosphere at the Emirates. It's not scary. It's all blockbuster thingy. You look around at the Emirates fan and you scream. Fans look at you like you're a madman if you start chanting and things like that. And that's probably where fans need to be better. The players, maybe that has an effect on our players because we're not able. Like you said, Rants, away games like this after the restart, it's not so much a thing. But when I look at somewhere like in the FA Cup, Sheffield United away, if the fans were there, would we have walked away with 3 points? To the next round, potentially not. When we beat Wolves, would we have walked away if they had their 12th men? I'm not too sure. And that's for Arteta. He's got to get rid of these psychological issues because as much as I think this squad is poor, the only reason we're not in any hope, like how you lot are talking about top 4, is ourselves. We have shagged ourselves. We have dropped points from winning positions. We are having to claw back points. We're drawing too many games. We've been poor away from home. There was a time when Arsenal was losing every game. I felt like we were going to get relegated, and players don't want to really be better. They say they do, but this sort of stuff needs to keep them up at night. They should feel physically sick hearing their club spoke of like this. And I don't think that's the case for all of these Arsenal players. I think there's a few, and I think Saka is one of them. And for me, that's disgraceful. Not for him, to the boys. He's 17, 18. He's come out of nowhere. Why has he got more desire than you? Why is his end product better? Why does he look more calculated at this level? Why is he just keeping more of a cool head? Why does he look like more of a leader? There's bare questions man can't answer, and this is what scares me. And Arteta's job is a mazza.
Do you know what it is? Because he hasn't been infected yet. Do you know what I mean?
He hasn't been there. These
young players, they come in and they're fresh and they got their right mentality because they've been working hard to get to this level. You look at your Pulisic's, they've trained, they've come over from the US at a young age to come Dortmund, learn a new language. They've hustled to get here. So they're still working hard, they're still thinking, they're still concentrating. Then you got all these laxy-daisy seniors that have been around the block, they've collected their trophies, they're done out here on these streets, they're not interested in any more progress, they're just lapsy-daisy, they're picking up their checks and going. The mentality of them has not seeped into the young players yet. So the only way to stop that from happening is to get rid of the seniors and replace them with real seniors who win a league title, and then after the day of celebrating, they say, right, it's time for the next one. Because there's only a certain amount of players that do that. And certain man just win a title or win anything and then bounce. And certain man win something and they say, right, that's the first one on the cabinet. I need something next to it. It's just simple.
Do you know what it is for me? It's like, don't get me wrong. I think, as much as I'm saying with this, you should enjoy your football. You need to enjoy going to your job. I don't think, if we lose, at the end of the day, football means the world to me. But if we lose, it's not that deep. It's a football game. But I see too many men, definitely at my club, it's like, they're enjoying it too much. It's like they don't really know what's happening. They don't really season what's happening. It's like I look at someone like Tierney. Why do you think Arsenal fans are breading him and can't stop chatting about, man? No, it's not because he's wearing the Tesco's bag and doing all this humble stuff. It's because you see a man that shuts up and backs his chat. These are things that are underrated. It's like left back. I don't need to think about left back. If he has the rare bad day, it's a bad day. But there's not too many players like even Louise and Mustafi. As good as they've been relatively by their own standard. I don't know what I'm getting week in, week out. Like I can get collectively the Arsenal at Villa, I can get the one exploiting mistakes against Liverpool or the one bopping it against City. And these are you can't be run like this. Our team, like you said, Matisse, our team's imbalanced as well. Mad imbalance. You look at our midfield. Shout out to Xhaka because he's been in form. But what sort of midfielder is he? He's never going to get goals and assists. So Bios is operating slightly deeper. I don't know if we're just doing a lot of these things like how we got a Bamian out wide because it works. But there's no goals or assists in this midfield. Probera's not a man for goals and assists. He puts a foot in. That will be required for some games. Then our midfield gets away with a lot. We probably have the on Arsenal side we've seen in a number of years because even Arsenal, their bad days, we'd come 70% possession, you know, and teams are getting shagged. Now we're running about and out, holding on for dear life, no matter who the opposition is. And that goes back to my first point. I do think when you've got better midfielders, when they defend, that's one thing. But when they're better on the ball, dictating and stuff, that's a form of defending. That's as important as two banks of four as the strikers dashing and chasing it. And I don't think it's the most collective un-Arsenal squad I've seen in a long, long while. Like when you think of Arsenal players, especially what Wenger's put here, you don't see too many of them that reflect that. It's sad. It's sad, but it is what it is, man.
And when we look at the super chat, man, saying, would you take David Alaba, bro? Who wouldn't right now?
No club here can afford to say they wouldn't take it.
There's not a single one of us that can say, what, man?
Yeah.
I'm Maguire and Lindelof. Bro.
Yeah, and Mustafi and Louise.
Would I take £1 million on an 18,000 salary? Yes.
You know, like that, it's a clear upgrade on everything that is situated in all of our clubs.
Man plays left. Plays centre back. He can play DM. Austria playing Cam. I play him wherever you want. Wherever this brother wants to play, he can play. Comes in my all day long. It's not a problem.
100%. Bro. Do you know what I'm saying? We're talking about lack of leaders. This guy has been there, done it all, bro. You know them ones. He fits the kind of profile of player that all of our clubs should be looking at. Do you know what I mean? It's all well getting nice young players with resale value, but the facts are, bro, we need players that have been there, done that, and know what the level is, and know how they can come and pick up the dressing room, bro. They can hold their fellow professionals accountable, blood.
And themselves, man.
And themselves as well, blood. Not these players here that we've got that just want to hide in certain games, blood. Because we've all got players that just hide
behind other men.
Yeah, they hide behind other men, but also because other men are higher profile than them, while the media is digging these men out, these men are getting away with doing fuck all, blood. And we've got bare of them players that have been getting away with putting up 6 out of 10 performances every week because the media are focusing on Ozil, the media are focusing on Pogba, the media are focusing on other men in their team, blood, while these men are out here putting out 5s and 6s, blood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. We've all got players in our team. We've all got players in our team who are like that. But while the media are digging out the higher profile players, there's other men in here just stealing and living, bro.
Just moving shit. Simple as that. Shit.
Simple as that. Look at this question now. Yo.
Man like Fraud and Horrendousson, blood. I told man about Horrendousson already, fam. I said, listen, yeah. Klopp is doing the Jesus thing, innit? Because you see, the water to wine thing wasn't as cold as the Henderson to Player of the Year thing. It wasn't as cold because Jordan Henderson's not even a top half of the table baller. So the fact that Klopp's done that, yeah, what Klopp has done, yeah, is some George thing, blood. That's what it is, isn't it? That's a George thing, blood. You know the fairy tale, the Disney frog to prince thing, blood.
Zero to hero. That's exactly right. That's what annoys me about the media. Like, I'm not disrespecting Henderson in any way. I think what he's offered Liverpool in his own way for what he has is just as important as what the other men have done. But I think his contribution has been good for Liverpool. I just feel when you look at that Liverpool side, the first guy I'm thinking of for me would be Trent. Then I'm potentially looking at Mane. I just feel with Henderson, especially with the English media, and it's nothing to do with Henderson because he's played well. I think he's the embodiment of what they're seeking. Everything they get at other players about, he's that, rightly so. He does a lot for charity. He's humble. He's what every footballer, they want every footballer to be, the working class hero. The prodigal son from Sunderland. After Ferguson says he hasn't got the knees to play in the Premier League, now wins the Premier League after winning the champs last year. It's exactly what they want. As much as I think he's been decent, it's a vote for popularity. It's not a vote on footballing ability, to which many people on my Twitter alerted me that is what the football writers thing is. He'll probably win PFA as well. Because, you look at Kevin De Bruyne, his team hasn't won the Prem, but he's been twice the player Henderson has. And I'm not trying to do it.
Fuck this.
It's not
It's not Trent Alexander.
It's a point.
Man have Trent Alexander. Man have got Mane. Man have got Mohamed Salah. Man have got fucking Virgil van Dijk. There's bruv, he's barely top 5 in his own team. Even
a young Robertson, even a little Robertson gets thrown in there.
I've said this so many times. You can take him out of that team, and you're gonna miss the leadership. Maybe you're gonna miss some aspects, but you can survive. Do you know what I mean? Don't survive by taking out Trent because your attack is imbalanced.
All their assists are gone. They don't win the league.
Mane has been the most important attacker this season, and Van Dijk. We already know what Van Dijk's on. So
like I said, like you're saying, it's literally just a popularity contest at this point. Do you know what I mean? It's literally exactly how you've explained it, and it couldn't get any better than that. De Bruyne leads the table in assists, leads the table in goals and assists combined, leads the table in big chances created.
Chasing that record.
He's just a baller. That's it. And we're not talking about, oh, we won Prem and we did this and we did that. First of all, you won Prem, but then obviously foot come off the gas now. So it's not really like, it's not like we've spoken about before. It's not a standout Prem season. It's not, you haven't something mad that's never been seen before. So there can still be debate about this. But De Bruyne is just, as an individual, he's had the best season. He's had the better season. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking about a team award. If we're talking about a team award, then cool. But it's not about the team, it's about the individual. And this is not how it should be.
Bro, even if you take into account that World Cup year, usually someone who wins the World Cup wins the Ballon d'Or. Cool, if you want to do a biased thing and give it to a Liverpool player, he's still not top 4 in his team, like, arguably not even top 5, bro. Man can talk about philanthropy and charity. I do loads of charity work, guys, but guess what? That's not why you follow me on YouTube. Don't follow me on YouTube because I do charity work, blood. If my show's shit, don't watch it. You know, you gotta watch man's show because man gave a homeless man a bottle of water, fam. I don't think so. You know, now this is a football award, fam. If man's not balling, he don't deserve it, blood. I do not care what he does off the pitch, bro. You know that, man, because I've had players at my club that have done bare fuckeries off the pitch, blood, cheating on wives and that doesn't stop them from getting awards. You know them, man. So understand, yeah, what goes on off the pitch ain't got nothing to do with an award that you're getting crowned for what you do on the pitch. You know them, man. So keep it consistent. Jordan Henderson ain't levels, blood. He's not supposed to win anything, bro. He's not meant to win nothing in football, blood. I do not care, bro. He can win all the team awards, but individual accolades, he should never win one. I do not care, bro.
For real, they've degraded the thing. They've degraded it. Now I can't take it seriously. You know what I mean? I can't take it seriously. They honestly needed a Kanye West to stand up on stage and say, "Nah, this can't run." Honestly, they needed that moment. Taylor Swift.
I'm gonna let you finish.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm serious. I'm really starting to think that moment was wasted on Taylor because it just wasn't worth it. We needed it now. Like it really it's that messed up. Do you know what I mean? It's like at some point you have to be like, who's actually like, you can call your writers, but are you actually credible enough now to actually make proper grown men decisions? Because clearly not. Do you know what I mean? If you're just going to start handing it out to, you know, people that you like, or I don't know, maybe Henderson gives you a little bit of a 1-2-2 scoop for your articles or something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
It's fully that. Because, listen, I even said it myself. I mean, I said myself, Lampard. Henderson seems a captain. He seems a leader. For me, I don't think he deserves to win it, but I'm not as hard on Henderson. It's true. It's what Rants said, and it's made me think about my own logic. What he's doing off the field is a bit irrelevant because it's not like football fans as a whole can see that. If you are told that, you know, Liverpool were 2-0 down in one game, he bollocked everyone in the changing rooms and they went and won, and he done that a couple of times, that's great. But again, that's sliding on the footballing field. It's like his contribution can never be underestimated or underrepresented. But it's like when you're talking about ball, Henderson shouldn't have won that, you know. I'm not sour on that, and he won it. It's nothing to do with me, but it's like we can list literally about 5 players that have been better than him, really and truly. And would that
if he won Sports Personality of the Year, none of us would have argued, didn't it? Because we can say, all right, it's got nothing to do with football. It's a personality thing. Yeah, we can see, yeah, man's raised money for chat, bro. This is a football award, bro. And these are football writers that we're meant to respect, by the way. They'll look at us YouTubers and be like, oh, you know what?
They don't know what they're talking about.
Media, they don't know what it's talking about. Bruv, understand, we've played football at a higher level than all of these pussios.
These guys
all of these middle class pagans that ain't never played football. Like,
they were not playing football. They were never.
Sometimes they're so disconnected from the real stuff. I'm telling you, they're in their own world sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you know what? Even if he went up for Personality of the Year, I still would have been kicking up because I'm saying that's Rashford's. So,
yeah.
So I'm sorry, but he just doesn't collect anything. He doesn't collect.
Rashford got third on Player of the Year, bro. Rashford ain't been the best player at his club.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on, bro? Rashford ain't been better than Wan-Bissaka over the season. Rashford ain't been better than Fred over the season. Like, there's a few, man. Martial, the way Martial's playing right now, yeah, for the last 3 months, now he's been as good as Marcus Rashford. Like. So when you're looking at these players, yeah, throughout the season, I'm like, there's no way Rashford hasn't been the best player at our club, bro. He hasn't. Do you know what I'm saying? You can even argue, yeah, that the amount of time that Rashford's shown a bit of form, Luke Shaw's shown a bit of form for the same amount of time, 2-3 months. So really and truly, Marcus Rashford coming third in that again is a travesty, bro. It shows me that these men, yeah, are not even watching football, bro. And most of these journalists are
with rhetoric, man.
Bro, even some of our own players that I see talk, yeah, on Twitter and that, and I like them because I've met them in real life and I think they're cool people. But these men don't watch Man United all week. And these are Manchester United players, ex-players. I'm telling you this. These men, if these men are not getting paid to be in the studio to watch Manchester United, they don't care. Because some of the shit that I've seen some of these men say, guys that I respect as players, you man don't watch us. You do not watch us, bro. Do you know what I mean? So too much respect gets paid to a lot of these bres because of their reputation about what they used to do.
Or a journalism degree.
Yeah, these men don't watch football, guys. I'm telling you this. Most of these men that sit in there do not know shit about your team. They don't know more than you know, bro.
Do you know why? You can't criticize journalists. Look at Ozil the other day. What was it? Last year or the year before? They put him in no combined Spurs at 11 at the time. They criticized him. They led a witch hunt. Then what? We played. We won. Ozil played well. He reacted. And then what? You literally see people cry saying, "How can Ozil say this?" And that's the thing. We're not allowed. In the same way, we're not allowed to criticize referees. We're not allowed to ask problems if these lot have any problems. There's certain untouchables within football, and it's annoying because football fan YouTube. If I make a comment and it's calamity, you know, hold me up, hold me accountable. We get clipped up on me. It's ridiculous. Like, hold everybody accountable, man.
You see it as well in the summer times when they ask their questions in press conferences. You're like, we don't need that question. Like, you're not asking the questions we're trying to hear. Do you know what I mean? That's the whole point of a press conference, is to ask the questions that the fans want to get the answers from the manager. And half of the time of these press conferences, you're not even getting the right questions. Do you know what I mean? I know we have to be a little bit PC because we don't want to lose our special passes to the press conference, or we lose our special passes to the club and the access. But I refuse to believe that some of these questions can't be more challenging. Why is nobody asking my manager why is Kante injured again for the third time this season, recurring injury? Why was he played, 5 games on the bounce, 90 minutes, starting every game, when we can see that he's got recurring injuries? Why are these questions not being asked?
They don't want to get blacklisted asking difficult questions. They want to stay in their little cliques. They want to stay being the only ones who allegedly get the scoop. You look at the journalists, they always fight over who got the exclusive drop. You watch when Sandro actually goes to Man United. All of these journalists is going to claim they were the first to know you. They drop the fan little words. And that's the thing about another thing. We're going off topic, but another thing about these journalists, there's no credibility. It's all about being first and having the scoop, and you can get the most clicks. It's like you look at them and referees, you cannot criticize them. You cannot ask the media why. And the media are dangerous because they brainwash people. Look at the rhetoric. Again, if you feel Henderson legitimately deserve to win this thing, I can't tell you anything. But it's the way people are behaving, like Henderson is up here. Nobody else is coming close as a contender, when in reality it's Kevin De Bruyne. No, but if you say Henderson, that's calm. And when you say a lie enough times and it's from a credible source, the honest man is going to read it and get twanged. Yeah, it's going to be true. You're going to be like, oh, well, the Daily Mail is saying it, blah, blah, blah. Because we've all used to get twanged like that before. You thought, forget who the corporation is or the individual. Let me take the information and make my own effing conclusion. But that's not how society works. So
the whole thing is tapped up anyway, because like these journalists are faces for their companies of the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, the Sun, who they need their clickbaity articles up on Twitter. They need their catchy headlines. I seen something the other day. Hudson, and even Sky Sports decided to run it. Hudson-Odoi is unhappy. Who told you that? Who told you that? Do you know what I mean? And it's once again a player name being tarnished, same as Sterling. Do you know what I mean? Same as all the time, fam. They're just taking the name and they're like, right, this guy's had a few issues at the club now. He's not
playing. Boom.
Yeah, now we're just gonna just start dragging his name in the headline. Literally, an hour later, some real correspondent with actual connections comes out and says, no, it's all wash. And it's like the media will take it so far with certain players as well. They'll drag their name because they just know there's an agenda against that player now. You make enough negative headlines and it starts to catch on. Do you know what I mean? It starts to get a little bit catchy. You can get a little hashtag out of it. Do you know what I mean? The amount of Chelsea fans I saw the other week jump on this Hudson-Odoi thing without no due diligence in their brains to go and do the homework and say, let me go and see if this is actually true. Because, do you know what I mean? Apparently now, according to reports, Hudson-Odoi is unhappy, not getting enough game time. thinking of leaving the club in the summer.
And that's a good thing. Wait, sorry, Matisse, but that's a good thing. He should. Why should just the fact that he's unhappy? Why no one should be happy about not playing? Go out there and deserve and earn the right to play. It's that. It's as simple as that. And
so nowadays, a player unhappy. Nowadays, a player unhappy to not be playing wants to leave the club.
Yeah, they don't phrase it. They don't phrase it like that. Do you know what I mean?
Brother, if you're happy to sit on the bench, get out of my club now.
Exactly. You want them to give a headache to whoever the manager is. You know, obviously there are cases where a man's not happy, he's not playing, it's inevitable, he's not going to play. And as well as I'm holding everyone else accountable, you have to say football fans, like using Chelsea as an example, Arsenal and United have many. They banged on him about Callum Hudson-Odoi. We can't let him go. He needs to play. I remember he started against Liverpool. He was shaky. You know, he's just jumped on this thing. He then the same energy is used to ruin him. Oh, we must give him a contract. Give him exactly what he wants. He gets the contract. He's not motivated anymore. He signed a big contract. That's why he's not playing. Fans need to rein it in a bit. And I feel everyone needs to hold themselves accountable. Like when you do your Twitter or me and Rants do YouTube, we don't ask anything of these players that we don't ask of ourselves. Consistency, integrity. You know, if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. You're human. But it's ridiculous, man. It's
embarrassing. I've seen Pep Guardiola sub off Aguero and them man are beefing on the bench, you know, live on Sky. Live on Sky, bro. No one's saying Aguero wants to leave. He don't want to be subbed off. He's like, what the fuck? We're trying to win this game and you're taking me off. Are you high, bro?
I want to score goals, like the backside, literally.
That's the level that you expect from all your players, bro. That's an elite mentality. Any player that's happy to sit on the bench at a football club, any player that doesn't believe they're good enough to be starting and playing week in, week out should not be at your club.
Should not be at the club at all.
Because that means they're the level below. It's as simple as that. They're the level where they are.
Every player should believe they're good enough to start. Even if it's someone like Mustafi, he's backed it up by playing. I don't necessarily rate him, but you should believe you are the top done within reason. Leave your ego at the door, but let nobody take that shirt off you. Fight for that shirt. And I think, like Rand said, get rid of man that's not on that, man. Get rid of man. There's too much man coasting, and I would love to coast as a footballer, but that's not our life's pattern.
The backup players coast, which means the starters coast, because the starters are not pressurized. Even if you look at Firmino's goals this season, the lack of goals, and obviously Chelsea were the ones to hand him his first Premier League goal at Anfield, much to my not to my surprise whatsoever. People need to look at the mentality side of things, because as good as Firmino is, who is his competition? Who is the guy who comes in for him not scoring? Absolutely nobody. So you can't play. You know what I mean? At some point, I'm just like, well, I'm not surprised he's not scoring, because who's going to take his place? No one's here to take his shirt anyway. Origi's not a serious challenger. And that's the problem with Liverpool. You know, the squad yet. If you had a striker, if you had signed Werner instead of us, which is what you was trying to do, you wouldn't have this problem. Do you know what I mean? Because Firmino is not banging in goals, in comes Werner. And I bet you Firmino, he comes back different and he scores goals. He comes back. Do you know what I mean? But if you haven't got pressure behind you, so it's all well and good people saying you need squad players and you need guys who are, you know, who can fill out the squad. There's levels to that. You can fill out the squad, but your mentality needs to be that you're kicking the door down. Because if you're not,
why, for me,
it's not going to work.
You look at Liverpool, bro, the fact that they didn't get Werner, next season, I don't think they're winning the league, bro. Because it tells me that they're not willing to strengthen to a significant amount, whereas Chelsea are looking to spend peas, fam. You can't afford. I remember when Manchester United won the Champions League in 2008, and we didn't strengthen our team. Biggest mistake ever.
Can't allow complacency. Cannot allow complacency.
Cannot, bro. You cannot be winning titles and say, you know what?
Everyone's good. No, someone needs to give someone a headache. And what people forget is look at the ages them Liverpool man are at. It's like Salah's in his late 20s, Mane's getting there, Firmino as well. They're probably thinking, boy, we're winning stuff. I'm in my middle ages. I got a good contract. And the good thing is, I don't think they're out there and they always want to improve in things, but we'll never truly know. The subconscious is a strong thing. If you know you're playing every week, you know on your worst of games, you know, unless you're really lacking match fitness, you know you're playing. That's dangerous. They need a striker that can give a problem and also be used in the side. They need a creative midfielder to make all of these other midfielders fix up. They probably need fullback competition within reason for Trent and Robertson. And at centre half, they just need a better centre half. Like I rate Gomez, but is he of the level to Van Dijk currently? No, he can be an option, but they need to take it to the next level because you know it's God's grace that all of their players 9 times out of 10 stay fit. What happens if Salah misses 6 weeks and then Armani misses it and Firmino's gone and Van Dijk's here? You know, they probably need to add strength in depth, and there's probably never been a better time. And like you two said on the last episode, that squad's probably collectively been together touching 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It needs liven it up.
It's time for a new cycle. It's time for a new cycle. The football cycle is usually about 4 years.
Every time I've seen Chelsea drop off after a title win, it's because we haven't strengthened. We've always slacked off in the transfer window after we've won a league title. Every time, you know, after we won a league title, then we start chirping up Morata, start chirping up Bakayoko, chirping up Drinkwater, still splashing people, but not doing the work with your brain. Do you know what I mean? Not doing the real scouting, not really thinking straight. Like, who do we actually need to bring in? Just buying players on deadline day and whatnot, and we always pay the price every time. We win something. That's why we don't win back-to-back titles. We haven't won back-to-back titles since, I think, Mourinho, because every time we win a title, we slack off. Every time. So hopefully that starts to change, because when you're winning, you go again. That's what you're meant to do. That's the only way to stay on top. You start slacking off, and of course the competition will strengthen and come back to you. That's just how it goes. And that is probably how it will go with Liverpool. I don't even know what their situation is financially. I think they actually can't even afford to do.
I think they have to sell to buy, bro, because from their transfer activity, it's not looking like that they have money to just spend, bro, because Werner wasn't expensive.
Werner was not expensive.
Quality, 45 million is chump change.
Yep. For a team that won the Champions League and won the Premier League, if you can't afford 45 million, there's something wrong. Very wrong.
Absolutely. You might not saying about Oli in that top 4, bro. Even if he gets top 4, I'd sack him anyway, bro. I don't care, innit, bro. I'm looking at the points tally and I'm thinking, if we win this game, it's the equivalent points tally to finishing 6th or 7th in the league last season. If you're trying to tell me after spending 200 million with the players that we have, that finishing on an equivalent to 6th in the league, really points-wise, is good enough, it's not in it, bro. Pochettino's out there, he doesn't have a job. If he ends up at Juventus, I'll be fuming, innit? It's one of them ones. If you're a serious team, you pull the trigger on, man. As I've said before, I've seen Real Madrid win the league and sack their manager. Like, finishing 4th in the league and not winning a trophy is not good enough to keep your job as a Manchester United manager. And if it is, then we have to admit that we're not as big a club as we profess to be, in it. Like, admit that we're not what we were, and then I'll lower my standards. Until then, I'm always going to judge my team against Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and we're nowhere near these, man. So we can't afford to be making allowances for a man like Oli, bro, or any manager of that ilk.
Fact.
This comment, you know, this guy, you know what? You're talking how I used to talk.
Don't give him. Just don't give him. You're right, bro. You have won the league. Congratulations. But let's see if you do a back-to-back and you build on this. Like I said, you won the champs. Arsenal haven't done that. You're winning the Premier League. Arsenal haven't done that. I can't tell you anything. Gloat, mate. But let's not give him some airtime, man. Just let him. Yeah, man. Ignorance is bliss. Let it be that, bro. No,
my guy's like, no, we're not even on it.
No, man, Matisse should be wasting your time. Like, you don't want to. Them sort of comments there. That's not a man that wants to listen to reason. He's saying what he's saying.
This is it, and this question leads very well into the last topic, bro. Klopp versus Pep Guardiola, blood. Who's had the better career at their respective clubs? Like, for me, look at this. Pep has built a Dortmund team here, won back-to-back titles with them here. What has Pep done in his career that's the equivalent to that? Nothing. I mean, Pep's been at has been the best team in his country. Facts or no facts?
Yeah. Facts.
And he's been given unlimited amounts of money to splash as well. That's the thing.
I just think it's a case of relative success. You look at Liverpool, Klopp has simply performed above expectations there. They probably thought he would challenge for things, but, you know, not to this scale. I think Pep Guardiola, he's done fantastic things for City. You know, he even before he came to England, he helped revolutionize the game. And at City, he's got 100 points. He's improved players and things. But has he overachieved in their expectations or delivered that Champions League? No, it's like with Munich, you expect him to win the league title. And again, I don't like to harp on about the money thing because it's relevant. And Liverpool have spent money as well. But when they have bought players compared to when City have bought players, for me, it's been different. It's like Mane's seen as a world-class player now. No one was taking him in like that when they took him. Same as Salah. Van Dijk and Alisson, probably the only exceptions. Pep's got 9 times. And you see with Pep, things don't get spoken about. Look at the 2 fullbacks that are not playing, Cancelo and Zinchenko. You know, Klopp can afford to go and spend that piece. You know, I think Klopp has, for the fact that he's simply overachieved with that Liverpool team, he's more successful right now as an England
My
manager.
brother, not only has Jurgen Klopp spent money, but Jurgen Klopp has had to sell his best players to spend that money, you know.
Bro.
Coutinho.
Did he not sell Coutinho for what, 100 odd million?
And then you make Matisse,
And
literally.
did Suarez get sold for what? How much did Suarez go for? Close to that as well, didn't he?
Probably
Yeah.
60.
Two of the best players in their recent history have been sold to facilitate the rebuild. Yeah, Pep
And it's looking
Guardiola
like the best thing they ever did now.
Pep Guardiola's been able to get rid of Joe Hart, sign a shit goalkeeper, get rid of him, sign another one, sign 3 fullbacks.
Sign hella wingers.
Hella wing, bruv. This guy has been able to buy players without selling players, yeah, and to sell players under price. So he hasn't had to work on a budget, on a restriction, and he still hasn't.
The luxury of a massive squad as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Went
true.
to Bayern Munich that won the quadruple before him and couldn't win a Champions League there.
Mm-hmm.
Pep Guardiola has underperformed there at every single club, bar Barcelona, that he's been at. I refuse to be told otherwise for the simple fact that Manchester City, for the amount of money they've spent, they should have won a European Championship already.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, you know. And the thing is with Klopp is he's
And
improved.
now the point system as well.
Do you know what I mean?
Gone out the
It's
window.
it's quite clear that Klopp has improved his players by ridiculous amounts. You sign Robertson from Hull City. He's not a star. Do you know what I mean? But you make him into one. Trent comes from the academy. This boy didn't just turn up out and, do you know what I mean? You made him into what that guy is. You look at the likes of Mane, like you said already, not a superstar. Very good player at Southampton, but not a superstar. Turns him into a world-class player. That midfield, we've spoken about this as well last week. How many times have we said the system is more important than the individuals within it? Because without him, that whole thing crumbles.
This guy didn't manage money. I mean, Suarez. I didn't say that he did. Brendan Rodgers managed him. I said he spent the Suarez money. That's not the same thing. Listen to what I'm saying. They sold Luis Suarez so Jurgen Klopp could spend the money to buy other players. They sold Coutinho so Jurgen Klopp could spend that money, bro. As far as I know, Brendan Rodgers didn't spend the Suarez money to rebuild because did he not get sacked? Did Brendan Rodgers pretty much the season after Suarez did? So Rodgers didn't spend that Suarez money. Klopp spent that money. And that's the point I'm making. Liverpool have to sell to buy. Manchester City do not. So the budget that Klopp's operated on, it's been a one out.
It's a sugar daddy thing.
But Pep has been coming in and spending money willy-nilly, blood. And he still has no European Championship outside of Lionel Messi, bro. So, man have to look at Pep Guardiola and say that you went to the best team in Germany, couldn't win the Champions League. You've come to the best team in England at the time, couldn't win the Champions League. There's an asterisk next to your name, rude boy. I do not care how much romance is next to your name and all these triangles that you play on the pitch, rude boy, and how many fucking lollipop lady signs you do on the. You ain't won no Champions League.
You know what it is for me with Pep? I think, listen, maybe it's a luxury because he's achieved more than most in the game. I've got nothing but respect for him. But I just feel not enough things are spoken about. Like, credit where due, you know, not signing Fred and Alexis Sanchez probably saved them. You know, at the time, it looked like they were overpriced for what City were willing to pay. They didn't pay it. They moved on. But directly not really improving that midfield is there. You look at someone like John Stones. If John Stones was at Arsenal as a young player, there'd be several headlines as to why he has not kicked on and what is the manager doing and things like that. That is said. I think when you look at a couple of these individuals in that team, he gets away with a lot. And I have an agenda, so I keep saying it. Zinchenko and Cancelo. That's probably about, 50 a player or close to. What other manager is going to get that luxury of buying 2 fullbacks and they almost vanished from the team now? They're gone. Where are they? Like, Zinchenko was farmed out on loan. Cancelo, is he there? I don't know what's going for him.
Guardiola has signed bare man that have flopped and he's got rid of them. What was the brother he signed from? Was it Sevilla, the attacker?
Nolito.
Nolito.
All these other men have come in and done nothing, bro. Don't tell me nothing, blood. Listen, if he was at a normal club, they would have said this guy's flopped, bro, because he signed more dud players than good players. I don't care. There's bare man that he signed that have come in, done nothing, and they've gone out the side door. No one's talking about. Cancelo was linked with Manchester United and that. This you ain't coming in, bro. Done nothing.
Done F-all, bro.
And he's not playing, bro. Zinchenko doing nothing, bro. There's bare man at Man City that have come in and not really done Nothing, bro.
No, I don't think Rodri's a bad player. I was rating Rodri and singing his praises on my YouTube before he signed for City. But at the same time, has he set the world alight? I'm not asking for a man to set it alight, but what's he done? Like, what's he? If this is Arsenal, I do use my club, and we shelled out for Rodri. It's a madness. Now, I think Rodri is better than Xhaka, just as a footballer. But Xhaka was held accountable when he wasn't playing well, rightly so, for that 40-odd million. Nothing is said when
I remember when that man signed Gareth Barry, blood. That's what Rodri's doing, blood. Getting the ball and passing it sideways.
Just moving. Someone should be able to do that anyways. Like
until he goes to a club that's not already at the pinnacle of their league, there's going to be an asterisk, because I need to see him do more than with what he's given. I need him to do more. Do you know what I mean? I need to see him do more with less.
It's the most testing time in his career.
Even Mourinho in his prime has shown that he can do more with less at Porto, at Inter Milan. Do you know what I mean? He can beat Barcelona. He can do all of these things in the Champions League. Maybe he's declining, but his pinnacle is far higher. Do you know what I mean? With what he's been given to work with. He's gone and done it in different countries with different personalities. Pep very much is like my way or the highway. My man's had so many talented players and just can't work with them. Do you know what I mean? And that works if you're bringing in Champions League. But if you're just going to dominate the thing is, if you're just going to dominate the league that was already dominated before you arrived, what have you really done? Bayern already was winning the league. They're winning the league now. Man City was already winning the league. Do you know what I mean?
That Chilean David Moyes, yeah, won the League Cup and the Premiership as well. Pellegrini, blood. Don't tell me about. There's nothing that this Guardiola's done now that the managers before him did not do. Nothing at all. So just by that alone, he can't chat to Jurgen Klopp, because Jurgen Klopp has won a Champions League and a Premier League in a time when Liverpool couldn't see those.
And not even just the trophies. He's got to a final with that Liverpool team. I know you don't get a trophy for winning in the finals and stuff, but you would have thought, with all due respect to Pep, with the money he spent, you would have seen a Champions League final at the very least. And it's when you look at him in Europe, the most thing has been me with him in Europe since he's left Barcelona. Yes, obviously, Europe's the pinnacle. There's no hiding place. I think tactically he hasn't always set up like I swear last year or the year before, I could be wrong. It was last year. They lost to Spurs over 2 legs. They messed it up in that first leg. I think they missed a pen. Tactically, they weren't set out. Then in the second leg, they played into Spurs' hands. And I think in my time watching Pep, this is the most testing time of his career, because he's been blown out the water with that Liverpool side. You know, like we've just spoken about the transfers and the need to rebuild. And I would also say players are not. He has improved Sterling. But for Pep Guardiola, there's not enough players, I would say, that vividly have improved. Like, I do think Sterling, Foden, just about any player that he's had at City. But for someone who doesn't care about academies and youth players and development, who has Pep Guardiola, the guru, improved significantly? Like, Sterling even had a base to work with to the point where City bought him. Who has he improved specifically?
There's no fringe players that Pep has bought here that have gone from fringe here to Mo Salah. It's never happened, did it? Man, even one of the best players in the world, bro. Raheem Sterling, Liverpool got 60 million fucking pounds for him, bro. Don't tell me. You know what I got? How much did Mo Salah cost, guys? Because I know there's some Liverpool fans in there.
I think it was around 35 million, something like that. It wasn't mad peas. It's not
60, is it?
Yeah, it's not that deep. It's not that deep for Salah. And the thing is, before even Klopp even touched this country, he won the league with Dortmund. And that's not easy to do. We've seen Bayern dominate that league. He's won the league. Is it twice? Yeah. So you know what I mean? There's levels to this game. And that comment there speaking about Liverpool, I have to agree. Salah, Mane, Robertson, these guys weren't big names. You know, Salah had a good 32 million. There you go. Salah had a good season at Roma, but he wasn't moving on.
People don't.
No one was gassing him up like that.
Nobody was gassing. If you asked once upon a time about Mo Salah, about Mane, people would have turned up their nose. Nobody was taking him in like that at Southampton. Now
even Van Dijk.
Call a spade. Even Van Dijk. I at a point was like, is he good? You know, you did like, is he good? Is
there's not a player there's not a fan that didn't support Liverpool that saw 70 million didn't laugh, because I know.
100 world's best defender. I saw it all. The memes fam were coming out, and the thing is with Van Dijk, he's been a ball. If you've been watching Van Dijk properly, same with Tierney, same as Moussa Dembele. If you've been watching these guys from their Celtic days, they are ballers from day one. They didn't turn ballers overnight. But the thing is with people, they don't watch Celtic like that. Celtic are producing players left, right, and centre every single couple of years, and people don't watch it. So when Arsenal signed Tierney, I already knew it was a mess. I already knew it was a mess for everybody else. Tierney's going to be top 2. He's already top 2 left back. He's probably going to overtake because technically I think he's superior, just that little bit. But due respect to Robinson, give him a bit of time to take the mantle. If you watch Celtic, their team is quality. Do you know what I mean? They got quality players. Even like Izagiri when he was at left back as well, tussling up with Tierney for many years. So many players at that team. Do you know what I mean? So many players that are just quality players that come from that team, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. Robinson come from Dundee United. So do you know what I mean? Klopp has done great things, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm long saying that he is the most important person at that club. Do you know what I mean? For the culture, for everything. For the way that they play, the intensity, the motivation that he gets out from them, the consistency week on week. You take Klopp out of that team, and that team is gone. That's why I understand why you don't entertain the comment. You take that manager out, and Liverpool will drop off 100.
Yeah, well, look at this. This guy's saying, Gary Neville said, he buys 60 million players, makes them look like 130 million. Look at this. This guy has said Pep's improvements: Foden, Sterling, Laporte, Mahrez, KDB. All right, cool. Here's my rebuttal to this. Here's my rebuttal to this. Right.
Mahrez was player of the year, bro. What's going on?
Mahrez was player of the year
in their own rights. Foden.
Mahrez was player of the year. Unless the team with Daddy drink water, blood. Don't chat to me. And Wes Morgan, are you smoking? If anything, he's made Mahrez worse, blood. Because Mahrez don't look like the same player. What Pep Guardiola does very well is he identifies talent and he fits them into a system, and gets them to buy his philosophy. He has not improved Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne had the assist record in Germany, yes or no?
Simple.
Unbelievable season.
So how's he improved him? He's just put him into a better system with better players around him, yes or no?
Kevin De Bruyne was a baller at Chelsea. I said this so many times. All the players that we lost, Lukaku, Salah, Kevin De Bruyne was the only player that I knew was going to be good. I didn't know Salah was going to be good because Salah's end product was fishy and he's just improved in Italy. I didn't know, and Lukaku I wasn't keen on just for the first touch and the way that he connects with others in the game.
Yeah,
Kevin De Bruyne was a baller and Chelsea fucked up. It's as simple as that. They blew it. They had a baller on their hands, and it's no surprise that he goes to Germany and smashes it for 2 seasons. 2 seasons on the trot, smashes records. He's a baller. That's it. That is it. He's fantastic at identifying play, and I'm not even going to say fantastic because, as we've already mentioned on the show, he's a lot of hiccups. So, do you know what I mean? Laporte again, top defender in Spain, but if you've done your Laporte, you knew he was injury prone. Why sign a player is injury prone and then make and sell company, get rid of obviously company leaves naturally, and what? Then you complain that Laporte is not
exactly.
He's never fit.
Someone like Matisse, you said a great point. Someone like Laporte, he would listen. We're not saying he hasn't improved players. We're saying he hasn't significantly improved someone. Simple as you look at Laporte, someone as quality as Pep Guardiola. Yes, injuries can turn the season, but because of the depth he has, Laporte's injury should have just been part and parcel of the game. They should have been still able to challenge. I've seen them throw. What's his name? What's his name? Fernandinho there. Rodri's been there. Stones is someone that was seen as someone that could be central. What's going on with John Stones? There's options. He's even played Kyle Walker there. There's things they can do to get around this and sort of.
Why didn't he improve John Stones from Everton? Why didn't he improve him?
Yeah,
John Stones was actually tailor-made.
He bought him crap and he's leaving crap. You know them ones. Raheem Sterling cost 60 million boof, blood. Do you think 60 million for a dead baller? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, come on.
Sterling nearly won the Premier League with Liverpool, blood.
Just needed to pattern his shots. That's it.
Literally, his shooting has improved, and obviously the system
has the end product and the new
helps.
Yeah, if you see them out, Pep's system has helped Sterling immensely because if you see them,
can only work with an elite base of talent, and then
exactly. You will. What I will say now is you will not see Pep take a bunch of decent, good, average ballers. Henderson, he won't take Henderson and turn him into the captain of a title-winning team. That you won't see from Pep. This is my point. Even at Barcelona, you think those guys weren't ballers before he came? You think Rijkaard didn't start all of that? Ronaldinho wasn't busting around before Pep. Come on now. Do you know what I mean? You think Messi was always good, was never going to be a baller before Pep? Pep has a very limited amount of pool players that he has actually significantly taken to the next level. His system has improved. His system has inflated their numbers and things like that. But I'm talking about actually improving. I'm talking to the point where you can sell them onto a Real Madrid and they go up another level again. I'm talking about Ronaldo improving at Man United, his end product. I'm talking about that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about just the system. But we know he's got a great system. Of course he does. But at the same time, like we're saying with John Stones was perfectly tailor-made for him. He was probably the best ball player and centre back in the country at one point. He was being lauded and applauded by everyone. And where is he? Where is the fullbacks that he spent 50 million on each one? Each one. Do you know what I mean?
And now he's behind Harry Maguire, blood. You know them ones there. A man was talking about John Stones like he was Gerard Piqué. Am I lying, bro? But that's how he's talking about, man. Dead food, blood. And now man are talking about, oh yeah, we'll have to see if John wants to stay. Bro, John's done out here, blood. You know what I mean? John Flintstone, blood. Man's going to be playing in the bottom half of the table next season. Phil Foden, was a baller regardless. Yes, the Pep system has benefited him because he's a cultured young baller. But if Pep doesn't come in, Foden still busts through, blood, because he's a talented youth.
This is the only comparison I can make. Take the likes of Henderson, take the likes out of Wijnaldum, take the likes of, do you know what I mean? Even Firmino, take these guys out of Liverpool and give them to another manager and see what happens to them. Take Foden and take Laporte or Mahrez or whoever you want to take them out of Man City and put them somewhere else and see what happens. And you're going to see what we're talking about. You're going to clock. Because Foden is going to...
You Wijnaldum and Henderson to Klopp, to Pep, they get sold. That's what happens. They don't win the league. They get sold.
They're gone.
They get sold and they literally go to Newcastle. And they chill there. And they look as normal. They just look like normal Premier League players. I promise you that. Henderson.
That's where they got Genie from, wasn't it? Newcastle.
Normal players.
This is it, bro. So at the end of the day, that's no disrespect to Pep Guardiola, who's one of the greatest coaches, in the history of the game. Coaches. But when it comes to managing, and you see a manager making their players and their team perform above their ceiling, Klopp is clear of Pep Guardiola.
Clear at that stuff.
Clear. For the fact that he's won a Premier League with Jordan Henderson as the captain, bro. That's a Jesus thing. Man won the Champions League with Jordan Henderson as the captain. That's a Jesus thing, bro. Pep Guardiola ain't won the Champions League. My man's won the Premier League. Yeah, so what? So did Mancini, no? So did Pellegrini, no? Show me something different. You ain't showed me nothing.
Something that ain't happened.
Inherited a Bayern Munich team that won 4 trophies in a season and couldn't win 4. So don't tell me that this brother is better than Klopp, bro. Like, what Klopp has achieved, in 4 years surpasses anything that Pep Guardiola has done, arguably, in his career outside Barcelona.
Simple as.
Outside Barcelona, and the only reason why I give him Barcelona is because obviously Barcelona was a special team. I don't think I've ever seen any team play like that on the globe. To play that style of football, and make no mistake, he had world-class players patterned throughout that whole team. Again, that team was not a weak team. You had Messi, Iniesta, generational players coming through the prime. Do you know what I mean? Who were looking like amazing talents when Rijkaard was there, and they just came in and flourished, and obviously everything just came together very nicely. You have to give him credit for that team, the way that they played. They dismantled teams beautifully, and it was a fantastic system. But he had world-class players in that team. You didn't see no bums. You saw no bums. You saw David Villa. You saw Pedro. You saw Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, Fabregas, Busquets, PK, Puyol. This ain't no joke, man. Team. And I promise you, Barcelona, after he left, still won the Champions League again. Still won league titles again. So, we're not saying that he's not one of the greatest managers of all time, because you have to put him up there with the records. We're just saying that if you just want to compare him to even Mourinho, just for actually doing more with less. Do you know what I mean? Klopp. Yeah. You can't put him in that bracket and give him a team that is not expected to win, and give him budgets that are not ridiculously blowing up FFP. Give him normal budgets and give him a team that is hovering around top 4, and see if he can turn them into a title-winning team. See if he can identify your Robertsons, your even taking Chamberlain from Arsenal, a player that no one really knew what position he played in. You know what I mean? And he still comes in, and if it wasn't for the injuries, he would have been smacking in more long shots. Do you know what I mean? So take those kind of players. Don't take your Mahrez's that just picked up a Player of the Year award, because we already know Mahrez is a baller. Do you know what I mean? And it's not complicated stuff. It's not complicated to say I'm going to take Mahrez, the best player of the season, and put him in my. It's not complicated. That's very simple. I do that on Football Manager. Swear to God. It's not complex.
150%, bro. So the general consensus is that, bro, Klopp's achievements outweigh Pep's. I think we can all agree that. And I think if you understand football, the mechanics of football, what these guys have had to work with, the transfer budget, the caliber of players you can't really disagree with that. That doesn't mean that Pep Guardiola is not one of the greatest coaches to ever exist on planet Earth, because he is. However, what Jurgen Klopp is doing defies logic, bro. It defies logic, man. How many top teams did this guy go and take players from, bro? Like, it's a joke. Ronaldo was at Newcastle, bro. Robinson was at Hull or something. Let's be serious. Trent Alexander came from the youth team. Do you know what I mean? When you look at all these men, Mane was at Southampton. Salah was at what? Was it Fiorentina or
Roma?
Because he was at
Gomez came from Charlton. Gomez came from Charlton. Lovren.
Edison was at Sunderland, yeah?
Yeah. Lovren, where he came from? Nah, man. It's not a comp.
There you go, innit? So that's our opinion. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you know what I mean? Big up everyone that watched, bro. Over 1,200 people watching. Friday night and that. You know them ones. You might go out and do your thing now, bro. You know them ones there. Like, big up. Make sure you follow them and them as well. In the comment section, I've got their links in there anyway. So make sure you click on that. But also it's on the screen, bro. So make sure you follow them and them. Get me, and then, bro. After Sunday, when we find out the fate of United and Chelsea, you know what I mean, we'll be back, blood. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. You know what I mean? My team don't shake. You know the ones. If we do shake, you get me, boy. The Ollie out banner's coming. You know what I mean? Live and direct. You know them ones. I've already started crafting it. You know them ones. There's one of them ones. The ink should have dried by Sunday. You know them ones. So we better we need to win. So, you know what I mean? Big up to everyone tuning in. You know what I mean? And we're gonna catch you after the Premier League concludes.